iDigiView presents adding zones or tiers to display weather and clock. In this tutorial, we will review the process of modifying and creating signage zones. We'll modify the horizontal zone in our hotel signage to make space for a new zone. Then we'll add a zone on the far left, which will play a weather function. Last, we'll layer a zone on top of the main zone and configure it to play a clock. Let's get started. We use X and Y axis coordinates to lay out our signage zones. Let's take a look at the zones in this signage. We play our layout folder, and we see zone 1 is 70X, 70Y. XY coordinates. The X coordinate is horizontal, starts at 0, goes to the right to 100. The Y coordinate is vertical, starts at 0 at the top, goes to 100 at the bottom. So zone 1, 70X by 70Y, starts at 0, goes to 70. 70 coordinates over. Starts at 0 at the top, goes down 70. And let's take a look at the properties of zone 1. You'll see that the way it's constructed, x1 is 0, x2 is 70, y1 is 0, and y2 is 70. And z-index, the z-index is a value like the position of zones layered on each other. Zone 1 layer index, you see, equals 0. If I define a zone to play on top of this zone, I would give the new zone a z-index value of 1 or greater. We will be layering a small zone on top of this zone later in the tutorial. Now we look at zone 3, which we'll be modifying to include weather. Zone 3 is 100x by 30y. So the horizontal x-axis starts at 0 on the left, goes over 100 on the right. It goes 30 on the y-axis, starting at 70 to 100. Let's now proceed and modify zone 3. Let's go to properties of zone 3. And a weather function plays well in a 30 by 30 zone. So we are going to shorten this by 30, meaning we'll start x1 at 30. And we will change the title now. Instead of 100, because we've reduced it by 30, becomes 70. So let's play layout I and see what we've just done. We've created a space for our new zone. We'll call it zone 4, 30 by 30. So we right-click on layout I, and we're going to add a zone or a tier. We go to the template, we select tier, which is synonymous with zone. The coordinates, we start x at 0, and it'll go horizontally to 30. We start y at 70. It goes vertically for 30, which makes 100. And this is not a layered zone, it's the bottom zone, so it will be z-index value of 0. We're going to call this zone 4, 30x, 30y. And we'll see if we filled that properly. We'll play layout I again. And you see we now have created a zone 4, 30x, 30y. Let's add a playlist that contains weather. So we go to the playlist folder, we right-click, select Add, and we go to the template, and this is going to be a playlist. So we select Playlist, we'll give this a name, and again we'll call it Zone 4 Weather. And select Save. Now we have a zone 4 weather that corresponds with the zone 4 that we just created. Let's add content. Let's go to the Play Commands, the Weather folder. We will select Custom Weather, and we're going to paste that into zone 4. We're going to modify that because this hotel is located in Miami. So we want the local weather. So we go to the properties within custom weather. And we're going to change the title first. We're just going to call it My Weather. It's in the USA, but it's in Florida. And it's in Miami. So we will select Miami and save. Now let's play this and see if it plays the Miami weather properly. It's opening, and sure enough, it's sunny and 86 degrees in Miami. Now we're going to proceed to create a 15 by 8 layered tier up in the right corner of our main Zone 1. So let's open our layout folder so we can see that zone, see where we're going to place it. Now if it's 15, that would start at 55 and go to 70. And if it's by 8, on the y-axis, starts at 0 and will go to 8. So let's create that. Right-clicking on Layout I, select Add, and then we go to the template, and it's a tier or zone, same difference. And X, we start at X at 55, and right X is going to be at 70. The Y, we start at 0, and that's going to go to 8. And the z-index in this case will be 1. We want it to play on top of Zone 1, which has a z-index of 0. We'll call this Zone 5, and it's 15x 8y. Let's confirm that will play properly. There it is. There's our zone. Now we're going to add a playlist, a corresponding playlist, so we can put a clock in it. So we right-click on Playlist, we add, and again, we go to the template, and we select Playlist, and we give this a name of Zone 5 Clock. And we'll save that. We'll need to give it content as well, and clock is located in Play Commands. It's date, time, clock samples. We will select the custom clock. We'll copy. We'll paste it into the clock zone. And we're going to make the background color closer to the colors that appear in our images there, and so we are going to select a steel blue so it won't stand out as much. We'll save that. We'll right click, play hotel, and we see our clock in the top right corner. It's not obtrusive, so our other images play well. We open to full screen. And we have now added 2 zones, and one is a layered zone. iDigiView thanks you for taking time to view this tutorial.